kind of weird. It's when a brand new part comes out, it's usually lower in supply. There's always that initial wave of stock just to prove that they launched it. And then once those are gone, then you have to wait for the second batch. The second batch is probably going to be in like 2 to 3 weeks from now. So if you miss your chance and your only hope is like Newegg because you don't live near a micro center, then you're going to be waiting probably until the 3rd week of this month. So you're waiting about like 2 weeks, I would guess. Somewhere around there. So Black Friday, that will be the time to get one. Don't expect there to be any kind of Black Friday sale on this processor. This processor is way too new, and it's way too in demand. However, that being said, the 7800X3D will probably drop in price for the holiday season. So if you're okay with buying the previous generation CPU and saving some money, that is an alternative path that you could take. I would only suggest doing that if you're somebody who is on what I call a pandemic PC, which means your computer is 4 years old or older. If your computer is 2 to 3 years old, I would suggest not getting the 7800X3D and waiting for the 9800X3D to come back in stock. That way it'll feel like a worthy upgrade. I feel like if someone is on a 2-year-old, 3-year-old computer and they upgrade to a 7800X3D, yes, it will be faster, but it'll feel a little underwhelming because though it is faster, it's like not insanely faster, if that makes sense. So the 9800X3D, if you're on a 2 or 3-year-old computer and you really want to upgrade for the efficiency gains and the better performance, the 9800X3D is really the way to go. If your computer is 4 years old or older and you can't get a 9800X3D due to stock or like scalpers and all that other stuff, then alternatively you could potentially consider the 7800X3D as an alternative. That's the way I would look at it. 7800X3D is either out of stock or overpriced. Yeah, it will go back down in price. Micro Center does have the 7800X3D. When I was there this morning, I looked at what they had. They had a ton of 7800X3Ds. Micro Center is like the mecca of the CPU, of computer hardware. If you don't live near a Micro Center, you are totally missing out, man. Micro Center is like, it makes you feel like you're a 7-year-old kid in a Toys R Us, if that makes sense. Or it makes you feel like you're a 13-year-old in a GameStop in the early 2000s. That's what it makes you feel like. So Micro Center is like, it's like the candy store or the toy store for a tech enthusiast. So when you're in there, you're just gonna want to like hang out in there, man. It's weird. It's like nobody goes to like a supermarket or a grocery store or a Walmart or something to hang out. But Micro Center is the type of place where you just want to hang out. It's like, it's weird. It's so weird, the feeling of being in that store. Oh, man. So anyway, let's try to run through this a little bit. And then what I want to do here, I guess what we'll do for the majority of the stream, we will go through, we'll do PC part picker, and we'll suggest some, I guess, different category price points for those of you that are thinking of doing a build, or you're thinking of upgrading from an old computer to a new computer, or it's your first time building a PC, and maybe you're somebody who was thinking of getting the PS5 Pro,
We're not here to negotiate.
and you're on PS4, or you're on mobile, and you're thinking of playing PC games, or just upgrading to PC in general. And the PC is a good alternative to the PS5, but it is a very expensive investment compared to the PlayStation. See, a lot of people were complaining about the PS5 Pro's price. However, the reality is if you want to get an equivalent gaming experience on the PC, you're going to be spending a lot more on a PC just to get equal performance to a PS5 Pro. So we're going to try to build a decent PC here that is better than the PS5 Pro, but not insanely expensive. I'm going to try to do that.
Back one.
You already have bought the Nova. So if you're playing games at 4K, it's really going to be up to you how you're going to use it. The 9800 XTD is still going to be the fastest CPU, even at 4K resolution. And it'll probably age better than the others with newer graphics cards, if that makes sense. However, because the 4K resolution is so GPU bound, the difference between a 9800 XTD and any of the other Ryzen CPUs, particularly the Zen 5 CPUs, literally the Ryzen 9000 you're not going to see that much of a difference. On average, you're going to see anywhere from no difference to like 1% difference between the 9800 XTD and the other.
Falling behind, Crimson.
Just keep that in mind. 4K, you're always going to be GPU bottleneck. Also, if you're gaming at 4K, there are only 3 relevant graphics cards at the moment. Number one, the RTX 4090. That's really the only one today that is still what I would consider a true 4K graphics card. But even the 4090 today is starting to show its age, because it is over 2 years old now, and you know it's how old is it? It's 49 months old. So it's getting kind of old. Oh, not 48, 25 months. 25 months old, and it's now to a point where I have seen games dip below 60 frames per second with 4090, and that is a GPU bottleneck when that's happening, not a CPU bottleneck. So Monster Hunter Wilds at 4K native resolution with everything cranked out with no frame gen, the RTX 4090 will dip below 60 frames per second. So that being said, there aren't really any CPU. There aren't any major differences in the CPUs if you're gaming at 4K. That being said, the 9800 XTD is still going to be ever so slightly better than the others at 4K, but it's not going to be by a large margin. However, once we get more powerful graphics cards, you will see a wide difference at 4K between the 9800 XTD
Get an LDVR on my mark.
the other CPUs. So just keep that in mind. If you're doing a lot of productivity stuff, you may want to consider the 9950X. X is a very good multi-thread that I would consider an appropriate choice for someone building a 4K desktop that can game and also do a lot of other things. So that's the one that I would recommend for productivity.
Hostiles have the hard point.
So, but also know that the memory amount is also going to
Scout pulse activated.
So let's
Hard point is secure. Hostiles have captured the hard point. Hard point locked down.
Kind of wanted to go through the reviews, but I guess we don't need to go through the reviews on any of this stuff. The thing I want to say about this CPU is all the reviews are positive. I have not come across a single negative review of the 9800 XTD. This is the complete opposite of what we witnessed a few weeks ago, last month actually, with Intel's Arrow Lake launch. And if you go further back with the Zen 5, both of those launches were kind of, I feel like Steve
Hostile UAV established overhead.
from Gamers Nexus said it best when he said in his review that AMD picked up the ball and fumbled it and lost 5 yards, and then Intel intercepted it and started and turned around and ran toward their own goalpost.
Hardpoint located.
And then finally, AMD threw a Hail Mary, and the 9800 X3 caught it, leading to a touchdown or something.
Hardpoint active.
Something like that. He ran out of sports actions because he didn't know enough about football, but that doesn't really matter. The point is, the way Steve summed up these last 3 CPU launches with sports analogies, American football analogies is what he used, were hilarious because he was like right on with how he described it. Like AMD, it was their turn. They have the ball. They fumbled.
Enemy UAV inbound.
Fumbled and lost 5 yards with Zen 5. Then Intel intercepted the ball and literally ran toward their own goalpost.
Hardpoint identified.
Like they didn't even know what they were doing. And then AMD finally like scores a touchdown at the end. 9800 XD, but man, it took them a while to get there. This has been a wild last few months for hardware enthusiasts. Let me tell you, that was ridiculous. The plays for the past 3 months were insane to watch.
Trigger and scout pulse.
Okay, so anyway, if you have the opportunity to get one of these, now probably one to, because based off of what people are saying, based off of what I've seen at Micro Center, based off of the new eggs selling out literally within the first hour, these could be potentially hard to get. It's all going to depend on supply, and it's also going to depend on the demand. If the demand stays really, really high, that is going to open the door for scalping. More people are looking at this processor and are interested in this part, the more scalpers buy it up in
Got
bulk.
their marksman. Let's move. Think real carefully about your next move.
And then just screw everybody over and mess it up, just like they did back in
RTX detected.
2021 with graphics.
Hardpoint is secure.
So